Hello, how are you all doing? I thought I'd jump on here and just talk about OCD and a bit about myself, a bit about my journey. There's no real plan to this video, there's no real structure. Rob did a recent video on the channel talking about OCD and control, and I thought I like the idea of that, just talking off the cuff, sort of off the top of your head, and just talk with what comes to mind, and just free flowing approach. I thought that was quite good. I will stick to my structured videos as well, but I thought I'd jump on and do a free flowing, just talk and a bit about me, and then just go down different avenues, go off on a tangent. I think that's quite interesting. So just to get the ball rolling, I just wanted to talk about spiraling a bit, okay, and how crucial it is to allow us to spiral and not try and intervene, not try and prevent going down that rabbit hole, okay? Of course, we know what leads us down that rabbit hole, so we know if we're performing lots of compulsions again, if we're seeking lots of reassurance, if we're partaking in lots of avoidance, of course we're going to go back down that rabbit hole. If we're going to our black and white, rigid, inflexible thinking, and there's more than likely you're going to spiral, you're going to set back, you're going to relapse. But when that does happen, we're not trying to get in the way of it and go, no, let's stop this now, because that becomes counterproductive. All right, if we're trying to force our way out of it, and just trying to just take control of OCD, then that is when you're fueling the fire, okay? Because you're gonna do stuff that, like I said, becomes counterproductive, and you're gonna try and force it, and you're gonna be looking for that quick stop, that quick intervention of the spiral. Okay, so we've got to allow that to happen. Let OCD do its worst, and just wear all those uncomfortable urges, feelings, sensations, thoughts. Let that happen. Do not try and stop it. And that doesn't mean then stop recovery work. Of course, we still work on recovery. We still do our disputing, but not for that instant rid of a feeling. Okay, there's a big difference there. All right, stopping a spiral doesn't mean quickly disputing, compulsively disputing. It goes allowing it to happen, let it be there, dropping that internal thermometer, but go, okay, but I'm still going to work on my recovery. I'm not going to put it off to waiting for myself to feel better. I'm still going to put the work in, but allow that spiral to happen, allow that relapse, allow that setback to happen. All right, now this happened to me many times along my journey. Thought I was getting somewhere, and then boom, felt like I was back to square one. Usually a new theme, or a new real event, new false memory. That theme gripped me quite bad. I was stuck with that for a very long time. It would chuck in a really unwanted thought, at usually an intimate time, and then just completely catch me off guard, and I'll be caught up in the chronic guilt cycle again. And because OCD would just sort of turn the heat up and up the limit. So it would go, okay, let's chuck in something else. Let's chuck in something that he really doesn't want to think about now. Okay, so it's always going to try and keep me stuck. So it kept me on my toes many times. And then when it would hit me, like I said, I felt like I was getting somewhere. I felt like I was getting some relief, some freedom. And then boom, it would hit me again. And then off I'd go down the spiral, down the rabbit hole. But then I started to let that happen. Okay, I started allowing the setback, allowing the spiral, not running from it. And then just do your worst, OCD. Do all you can. And it would usually be around a big event coming up. All right, so for example, this weekend I'm off to a football match. Okay, so I'd usually go into compulsions again, because I was so desperate for that day out with my friends, for that day out drinking, for that day out that I wanted to enjoy the football. Although the football's usually rubbish, for the team I support anyway. Yeah, I didn't want that to be ruined. I wanted to be there, I wanted to enjoy it, just in case, a few football fans out there, just in case we scored a last minute winner. I wanted to be totally present. I wanted to enjoy every minute of that. I didn't want to be stuck in an OCD rut, in an OCD cycle, thinking about a real event from 10 years ago, from 5 years ago, from a thought at an unwanted time, for when I was driving 2 weeks ago. Okay, so that's just examples I'm giving, but I so desperately not to be stuck at that big event or that important event Okay, so I'd go down the compulsions again. I go down the avoidance, seeking a bit more reassurance, those subtle compulsions that we fall down. All right, so let's not, if you've got something big coming up, okay, if you've got something important coming up, I see it now as, you know what, fuck it. OCD, do your worst, hit me for 6, do all you can. What are you going to latch to next? Just let it be there, okay? Do not fight it. You're just fueling the fire, and it is, because it can be a very, very cruel disorder. So it's gonna feel like it's gonna try and ruin that big event for you. It's gonna try and completely take over that important thing, or something that you hold dearly or hold close is going to try and take over that. Okay, so you've got to allow it to be there. Do not try and run from it. Do not try and escape from it. Do not try and walk around it. Do not try and jump over it. Okay, because it's going to be there. It's going to find a way to latch. We've got to let it latch, and we've got to do what we're going to do regardless. All right. So, wow, I've gone for a tangent. I've spoken for 6 minutes already. Something else I wanted to talk about, and it was deadlines. Okay. And just, I mean, even now, I see how deadlines comes about. This is even just with non-related OCD stuff. So just putting deadlines on things, go, that needs to be done by now. Of course, urgency is important in some aspects of things, okay? We can't wait around forever and making some decisions. Of course you can't. However, it's not going into that black and white urgency where I go, right, it all needs to be done now. I can't possibly even cope if I make the wrong decision now. I just have to just completely jump at it. All right, that sudden, what am I trying to, that sudden knee-jerk decision that we can suddenly make, or that compulsive or that impulsive decision that we can sometimes go down, okay? So, there's no deadline towards recovery, but what I'm trying to say is you're going to find there's all different deadlines in life. Okay, let me give an example. All right, you might have you might have a goal to lose weight, to lose a certain amount of weight in your life. Okay, so you're exercising, and let's say, so it's August now, and let's say by Christmas, I want to lose a certain amount of weight. Okay, so you're putting that deadline on it. All right, and now I'd often find I would be compulsively tracking that goal, compulsively tracking that deadline, and then what would happen, it would feel like, okay, so as that date or as that deadline's coming closer, then I couldn't enjoy anything in the meantime because I'll be so focused on that deadline, okay? So I put so much importance on losing that weight, for example, or recovering from OCD, as an example, that it would take over all enjoyment, all interests, all hobbies that I would have in the meantime, okay? So I put too much importance. Now, concern is a healthy feeling. So of course I'm going to be concerned about hitting that deadline. I'm going to be concerned about hitting that weight. I'm going to be concerned about putting in recovery work, OCD recovery work, okay? But I'm not going to be over concerned where it completely consumes my life. Okay, and that's what can happen. So I put that over importance on the deadline. Okay, put that over urgency. Okay, that needs to be done now. I can't possibly focus on anything else. That is all that matters. Okay, so I can go down that black and white thinking, and this is what I'm trying to talk about. And it links into very much with OCD. So we can suddenly go, right, all I want now is recovery, and that's all that matters, and I need to recover by the 31st of December 2023, and if I don't, then that's it, my life's over. I might as well give it all up. I might as well pack it all in. The tools ain't going to work. I'm the exception. I'm treatment resistant. It's all a waste of time, not going to work for me. Okay, that rabbit hole that we go down. Okay, so we've got to be very careful with deadlines, how we're placing them. Are we being black and white? Are we going over important with them? Or, of course, we need to be disciplined towards our tasks. Of course, we need to be persistent and work hard towards it. But if we're going, that's all that matters, and is completely consuming our life, then that is when we look at the healthy. We look at the healthy concern compared to the over concern, which becomes a negative emotion quite quickly. All right, now let me just talk a bit more about myself. So I'm 22. For people that don't know, I first started doing videos on the channel when I was 20. Okay, so quite young OCD sufferer, if there's such a thing, or you could say quite young to start with the tools and to understand the way that OCD operates. So yeah, I'm 22 now. Now you could say, fucking hell, you were suffering OCD at such a young age. That must have took over a lot of your childhood, took over the best years of your life, when you turn 18, 19, 20, going out drinking. Okay, that's all a perspective, that's all a belief you've got to remember. But I look at it like this. Okay, so the fact I'm 22 now, the fact that I've become rational now at this age, or becoming more and more rational by the day. You're not just suddenly rational and that's it. You look at all different perspectives in life, and then I'm gradually, or it's not just right. That's it. I'm now rational. It's light bulb moments over an extended period of time. And that's how I like to view it. Okay, it's gradual perspective shifts. Okay, some can be quite sudden when you see something in a moment. When you see, let's say someone else, let's say a cancer patient, someone like that, all of a sudden the perspective can shift. You could be like, I was moaning about the pizza delivery taking too long 10 minutes ago. I was on the phone to an internet provider, an insurance provider. I was moaning because I couldn't quite get the answer I was wanting, or I was on hold for 10 minutes too long. And then all of a sudden you hear stories like that with a cancer patient at my age or younger, and you think, fuck me. Like, that's an instant perspective shift then, okay? And we're human, okay? I'm human, so I'm not going to be 100% rational all the time, but I can quickly go back into the rational thinking when I feel myself getting angry at being on hold too long, okay? Or someone shouting at you, or someone just having a rant, or just things like that, or just people being unfair. You can feel like, oh no, why are you being unfair, or why does life do that, or why do people have those beliefs? Why are people so angry, or why do people think that? And then you going over the mush, you're going over the rational thinking that we learn on the journey. Okay, but when I see stories, like I say, with cancer patients, or people who have died at a young age, or in really serious accidents and they have lost a limb, or people who have had diseases and really life impacting diseases, okay, and you suddenly got that, oh shit, that light bulb perspective shift moment. All right, I find that's really, really helpful. And also, like I said, you're going to get gradual perspective shifts where, I don't know, you could be sat down the pub, you could be at the gym, you could be on the bus on the way to work, you could be anywhere, and you start thinking about things again. Okay, I used to view that like this. What if I view it like this? What if I put the shoe on the other foot? And is it still the same perspective? Can I see why someone might have done such a thing, or can I see why they think like that? Can I see why they have their religious those religious beliefs like that, or those political beliefs like that? Okay, and that can come with time. Okay. You're not going to, when you are really suffering, in the midst of suffering, accepting that you're not going to accept right now is a big, important thing. It certainly was with me, okay, and it helped with that, not forcing the acceptance. Okay, I'll give you a quick example before I wrap up. So I was on the bus. I remember this quite vividly. So I was on the bus on the way to work, and I work in a busy town centre. And I was suddenly thinking why someone would have such a strong, you could say, or a very rigid political belief. Okay, now people were getting angry at this person's political belief. Okay, you see it a lot on social media, you see it in person. Now it's so easy because of how maybe you're brought up, maybe your background, maybe your environment, how you see how they are so wrong. Okay, it's so easy to see what you don't like about it and get angry, start shouting loads of abuse at them, start swearing, start cussing them. It's so easy to do that. It's so easy to be negative towards it. And I remember I took the approach when I was sat on the bus, stuck in traffic probably, and I thought, okay, well, let's see how they actually think this political belief. Okay, and then you start seeing things from their perspective. You go, okay, I see how they would think that now. Okay, this doesn't mean you agree with it. You're not trying to excuse it. You're not trying to back it up. You're not trying to support it. but you're just being rational in your perspective. You're saying, okay, I can see now the foot's on the other shoe. How the shoe's on the other foot's on the other shoe. I'm completely blank of how that saying goes. You know what I mean now. You start seeing how they see stuff. You know, their upbringing might have been different. Their environment might have been different. Genetics in the brain. Okay, and you start seeing that, and then you become more, you sort of observe it rather than judging straight away. You see it a lot where people are, oh, you scumbag, or you shouldn't have done that. How can you possibly think that? You're the worst person in the world. And I just sit back and observe. Okay, I can see, although I might not agree, but I can see how their brain or why they might think such a thing. And I also can see why people would get angry at that. But it's having that ability or that knowledge to observe and not pass judgment straight away because you disagree with something. Okay, and it happens a lot with the need to suddenly prove our point or to be heard. Or people must understand me. People need to understand my exact point. And you see it a lot in society. You see it a lot on social media. Okay, so that light bulb moment on the bus. I mean, it's just so random. That's what I mean. It could be on the bus. It could be on the bus stop. It could be in the car as I'm driving, or in a passenger, or, I don't know, just waiting anywhere, walking anywhere. Okay, these random light bulb moments. You don't have to sit down on the sofa and go, right, light bulb moment, where are you? Light bulb moment, come on. That's not how they come, okay? They come so randomly. All right, so that's just an example of me. All right, just they come with time, and you just sort of, and there was no force in there. There was no force in the rational outlook on it. It was just, okay, let's have a look at how they can see it from there. And then you start doing that of all different angles of life, okay? So you do it with political beliefs, maybe religious beliefs, maybe people performing good acts, bad acts, neutral acts, acts you disagree with, acts you think are great. You just start applying it to all aspects of life. And it becomes really, really helpful, especially with OCD recovery. Because you've got to remember, I'm going to leave it on this, you've got to remember OCD is going to latch to what you're scared of. Okay, so if you're really black and white, really rigid towards something, OCD is going to zone in on that. It's like waving a red flag to a ball, something that we often say a lot on this channel. Okay, if you're going, no, that's absolutely terrible, I could not accept myself if that happened, then OCD is going to go, right, I'm going to latch to that, I'm going to keep you stuck, and I'm going to keep you in that compulsive cycle. All right, if you're holding really rigid beliefs around bad people, good people, how on earth could you think that? All right, those rigid black and white inflexible beliefs that people can have. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this video. I don't want it to go on too long, which I don't think it has. It was just sort of off the cuff, quite a laid back, and just talking, okay, a bit about myself, examples that have happened to me, and just also a bit of advice along the way, okay? If you have liked videos like this, please leave a like, that'd be much appreciated. If you are interested in any webinars, one-to-ones, I will be appearing in some upcoming webinars, and just listening or helping answering questions or having an input. Okay, so I look forward to that. I hope you can join me. If you do, please email phil@ocdrecovery.com to book a space. If you have any comments, if you do like these sort of free-flowing approach videos, please let me know, then I will continue it. And if you haven't subscribed to if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do so. That'd be much appreciated. Anyway, you take care, have a lovely day, and I hope you all enjoy yourself. Bye-bye.